Welcome, everybody, to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. And as you know, we talk about the 4 different types of freedom: time, financial, location, health freedom. And in that regards, I'm always interviewing entrepreneurs, thought leaders, people making a change and impact and bringing those insights to you. So today we have Jourdan, and he's the CMO of Nuclear Networking. And today's talk is going to be all about marketing, growing your business, sales, and being a business owner. So it's going to be a great, fantastic conversation, and I'm excited about it. So Jourdan, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Super excited to be here.
Yeah, I know we had connected through Podmatch, and tell us more about how you got started and what your company does.
Yeah, no. So I've been in marketing for many years now, it seems, but I first started my agency, kind of fell into helping out medical spas, right? And there was a need, especially during COVID, where people weren't getting booked appointments in the door for that, and then also they weren't profiting, right? They may have been selling Botox where their margins are super thin. And when they got people in the door, they were using Groupon for people that were, super cheap, and they didn't end up paying a lot of money, right? So how I got started was I kind of saw the need in the space. So I developed a marketing system where it kind of touches on the entire sales cycle of someone in medical aesthetics, right? So from the point of them knowing nothing of you, right, to them becoming a lead, to them trusting you from a digital sense, right? So we can start to prime them for your upsells and cross sells when they actually come in your doors through your medical practice, right? Actually started my first company, ClientSwipe, was specific to medical spas, and my company was acquired by Nuclear Networking last year.
Yeah, in this world, it's marketing, sales, innovation. And we'll start out with you generated a 6-figure marketing agency in 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, it's a very fascinating story. So tell us more how you did that.
Yeah, no, it really stems down to, hey, do you have the right offer, right? Are we targeting the right people, right? And if they become an appointment with you, if you book the appointment, just mentally knowing from a sales perspective, they have a need, they want to be sold. And me as a salesperson, right? I even tell my sales team this: we as salespeople, we just have to earn the right to gather the business, right? So that's ultimately how I grew it from, a 6-figure business in less than 90 days, is just following suit, right? What do they actually want? When I get on the phone call with them, how do we earn their business in terms of how do we overcome those common objections? So one, we decrease the most amount of sales resistance as possible so they can make a decision and move forward.
Yeah. Tell us, in this day and age of marketing, there's this idea of funnels, and a lot of people have heard of it, or they may just kind of educate the audience about that.
Yeah. So a funnel, I like to think about it as a 24/7 employee that's working for you. 24/7 day and night, right? When someone enters your funnel, depending on how well you architect the experience, right? Of course, people talk about automations like automated text and emails and all that, but the people that don't win simply just text, or they create content for content's sake. An example would be, hey, thanks for booking your appointment. See you soon, right? And not really kind of delving into kind of what they opted in the first place. Because if you guys are running paid ads and you guys are doing funnels, right, or even organic, right, we just have to acknowledge where these leads are coming from. It's the internet, right? They're watching funny videos of cats. You know what I mean? Quite frankly, right? So how we kind of win and how we kind of increase click-through rates, conversion rates, improve lead to booking ratios, booking to close ratios, is kind of architecting that experience. And I was even telling the team this today, is especially the landscape where we live right now. There's a recession, there's not. People have different views on that. But at the end of the day, people are still inquiring about your services. We just have to do a better job, especially if we're doing funnels, to kind of tell them who we are, why we're doing the things that we're doing, and then ultimately validate their choice of even going onto your funnel or them becoming a lead, that's how people win in the digital sense.
Yeah. And it's all about getting people at the top, and then the close or the sales. And there's like so many different steps. And so, we can talk about kind of the high level thing is you talk about generate some of the strategies to generate booked appointments using organic and paid traffic.
Yeah. Are you asking what are some initiatives? Yeah. So I'll start off with organic, right? So content is key here in terms of 2023. A lot of medical aesthetic owners and med spa owners are gravitating towards TikTok. And I promise you guys, it's not just dancing, right? It's if you're looking at it from an organic sense, their algorithm right now is crazy, right? It's crazy. So based on kind of what your target demographic is interested in, the second that you kind of create content that kind of runs in parallel to that, they'll constantly see content like that from an organic perspective. And if you have the right funnel, they'll check you out, right? Assuming that you're giving value and not just being that pushy salesperson, right? No one's gonna follow you in that sense, right? From a paid perspective, it's, hey, especially if you don't have a brand online, how do we get people in by volume so we can close more at a higher rate, right? So I always say this to my med spas that I sign up with and anybody else, right? Is, hey, we may cut 50% to our margins bringing in one person in the door. We might even lose money bringing in one person in the door, but where we make the most money is through upsells and cross sells, right? It reminds me of the story of a medical spa owner that I signed 2 years ago in Arizona. 90 days, she went from 0 to 100K a month with this strategy, right? And the reason why I'm pausing here for dramatic effect is a lot of people are hesitant to promote a lower ticket offer, just given like, hey, we don't want these Groupon individuals, right? We don't want people that don't end up buying the high ticket offer. But I promise you guys, if you have a low ticket offer, but architect the sales cycle or architect the experience like we were talking about, Chris, and with sales funnels, what comes out of the other end is one, word of mouth, right? Even if they don't book or even if they don't buy, still word of mouth, right? Given the experience that you provided, but then also the people who do come in the door, they're more likely to take your high ticket offer. Say if you have a mommy makeover package, or in this case, daddy do-over, I got 2 kids, right? That's worth like 8K plus. So that's what I've learned.
Yeah, it's all about, relationship, and it's hard to acquire clients, but it's easier to, once you get them in, to nurture the relationship. And what I'm sure you're aware, the lifetime value of the customer. Yeah. Since we're talking about an actual, physical, retail business, you set up appointments. Let's say they book appointment, but then they no show or cancel. How do you better set up appointments, and what are some of the strategies to improve show up rates, all of that?
It first comes up with content, right? So the secret that I say for everybody is testimonial videos, right? And we have to do it, if you are a medical aesthetic practice, we have to do it in a specific way that doesn't highlight personal attributes, so we don't get flagged by Facebook, right? And the best way of doing that is just interviewing, kind of like what we're doing, Chris, your clients in a way where we can use it as paid ads. And I'll give you the framework. It's, who are you? What was your results? And the last one is key, is if someone was on the fence, what would you say to them? The reason why the last one is key is, one, we can use it as paid ads. And two, the last one is we're beginning to overcome objections even before they come in the door, right? So not only is someone else talking about you, which you can think about it as a Google review and everyone knows how beneficial those are, but then also if someone talks about, hey, if you're on the fence, what would you say to them? If you look at my testimonials, everyone's like, just do it, right? It's a no-brainer, right? You'll get results. Imagine that experience if someone says something along those lines for your business. That's just lighting that on fire, that campaign. So in terms of show up rates, another thing that we do is, it sounds pretty straightforward, is I tell my partners, my medical aesthetic partners, to actually call them when they book an appointment. appointment. Most people don't, just for whatever reason. Maybe it's they're scared of selling, right? Which we also touch on in our program is how we upsell and cross-sell. But even calling them from a position of influence increases show-up rates, right? Here's another tidbit. What I've learned from one of my partners last year, she got only 3 no-shows the whole year, right? Yeah. So we use a CRM, automated text messages and emails. What she does is she got another phone number, right? Just separate, where she actually texts them from her cell phone number saying, "Hey, I'm Pamela. I'm one of the owners here. I wanted to take this off of our automated system and introduce myself personally. Very excited to see you at your booked appointment." Here's the thing that you might be wondering is, hey, will they blow up my phone? I straight up asked her. I was like, do you get a lot of negative stuff, like people calling you? She told me no, right? So in the year that we've been partners together, she got like three no-shows, right? So that's a little secret that I learned from one of our 7-figure partners.
Yeah, nice. We've talked kind of a little bit about the whole sales process and how you automate it. What's interesting is sometimes you have these automations and then but then like sometimes you do like, for example, phone calls that that takes time, but sometimes those things that you do that don't scale actually contribute a lot. And then how do you, so if people listening to this, they're interested in they're like, okay, I have my sales are so how does your company work with these clients?
Yeah. So when someone signs up with us, the first whole month is partly training in terms of how we set up, we call it SACA here, set appointments and close appointments, that acronym. So how do we better set appointments and connect on a deeper level? How we try to get the least amount of sales resistance possible, right? So without giving you like the nitty gritty, it's a lot of the foundation is saying things in a specific way without being salesy, right? And letting them come to the conclusion that this is the right fit for their lives and to kind of view whatever you're promoting or whatever you're offering as the solution to their pain points. And if for anyone listening, right, when you're selling, right, if you're doing most of the talking, that's a red flag. They should be doing most of the talking, and you should be answering specific questions that elicits an emotional response, and also gets them to the conclusion that you're the right fit. And what I tell my sales team is, one, you got to get them talking, and if they're telling you their problems, they're not only telling you but they're telling themselves. So psychologically, they're beginning to position your solution as, or your product as the solution to their pain point.
Oh, so it's kind of like you're helping them rationalize their decision for themselves. Yeah. And then one thing was, especially with talking with clients, is objections. Are there some sales methods that work better that you implement to overcome objections and increase close rates?
Yeah. So overcoming objections, without me like going like a month-long or 90-day course for me to teach you, the best way to overcome objections is to ask why, right? Why do you feel that way? Or I'll give you an instance. I closed a $12,000 deal, right, last month, and the objection was it was too expensive, right? Too expensive, which is common, right? So I was like, hey, no problem. Taking money aside, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate the system, right? And also I focus on tonality. She said 8. I was like, okay, no problem. Well, just off the record, right? Here's a diffusion technique off the record, right? I think Chris Voss says that, never split the difference. Like off the record, what would make it a 10? Right? She said, hey, if we got some quick wins now, and it would kind of justify the price because she was kind of hurting for booked appointments. So I was like, no problem. If we start today, we'll run a database reactivation campaign where you have a list of current individuals right now. We'll run them through the automation, get some quick wins and booked appointments. in parallel of us onboarding you and building out your current system. Okay, cool. Let's do it. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times it goes back to if they book an appointment with you or if they're in your doors, right? They're there for a reason. They want to be sold. We just have to do a better job of not taking the first objection as truth. Right. So we dig a little deeper to get the actual truth.
Yeah. Very this was great conversation. And I know, like, for example, doctors, especially aesthetics and wellness centers, are interested in, your how can people contact you, follow you, and even work with you?
Yeah. So if you want to contact me, my email is Jourdan, JOURDAN ELORIAGA @nuclearnetworking.com. Apologize for the long name. I'm Filipino, right? So I was born that way. But if you guys wanted an easier method, you guys can go to nuclearnetworking.com where you can type in your information, and we actually do a free competitor analysis on your business to see where things we can improve totally for free. So once you input your information, the team actually builds a custom report for you, and one of our team members will reach out to kind of go over that for you. And if if it sounds like it's the right fit for the vision of your guys' business, then we talk about next steps, but only afterwards.
Let's thank Jourdan for a great conversation about the sales and funnel process. Be sure to check out his website, Nuclear Networking. Get on his email list, check out his free resources. They'll be in the links in show notes. And he's also on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook. So check those out. And again, Jourdan, thanks so much for offering these golden nuggets of wisdom for the audience.